We've got a Sun Conference men's basketball matchup between the 2-4 CCGA Mariners and the 1-4 Warner University Royals. So far this season, Coastal opened with a win against Thomas and then lost to a very solid Georgia Gwinnett squad, then went on the road all the way up there to Kentucky, I believe is where they played this tournament. They lost both games of the tournament, came back home, went on the road to Columbia College, won 93-82, played at Columbia International, lost 77-87, and now here we are with the Sun Conference opener against the Warner University Royals, and the Royals are going to start this game with possession. Warner was getting out to a very good start there as far as offensive rebounding went. But now it will be Josh Irwin to shoot two. The first one puts the first points on the board for Warner. Now here is Isaiah Eden. Driving, and Eden gets two. There's Irwin again. Now in the hands of Jack Voth. Irwin pulls up for three and drills it. So Warner gets out to an early 5-2 lead here. Now here's Thad Burns. Gets it to Eden. Eden pulls up for three and ties this one up. Here is Seth Childers. That was Jack Voth who scored the two there to put the Warners back on top. Camara gets two and one. Jeremiah Camara has always been a player who uses his size to just completely dominate up there underneath the rim. Here's Voth. Thad Burns defending him. Goes up, gets two, 9-7. Royals lead. Here's Eden. Eden gets it to Kyson Pruitt. Pruitt finds a lane, ties the game. Here's Seth Childers with it now. And Jamal Norris hits a big-time three for the Royals. Thad Burns hits a three of his own, and this has been very back and forth so far in this one already. Here's Voth with it again. And Norris gets two more, giving him 5 on the night so far. Manny Harris gets 2. We're still tied, 14-14. Passing it all around, gets it to the inside, gets it outside to Irwin. Irwin hits a three. Coach Tim McAllister getting heated, calls a timeout. Warner up 17-14 against the Mariners with 15 seconds left. We will step aside. You're watching Sun Conference basketball on the Urban Edge Network. Coming back out of that timeout, if you're just now joining us, this one's been very back and forth so far in the early stages. 15:44 left on the game clock here in the first half. Warner leads Coastal 17-14. Coach Tim McAllister for the Mariners, he's in his first year. So far has them with a 2-4 record, definitely trying to improve. If you ever talk to him, he's a guy who does not like anything but greatness. So it's a very big deal to him to be down this bad off early in the year. There's Eden with a huge rebound. He gets 2. Now they're down 1. But Coach McAllister's a guy, lots of D1 experience. He was an assistant on Texas Tech's 2019 season, and if you're a Red Raiders fan, you know all about that. There's a big block there by Ellis Graham. Thad Burns gets it outside to Kyson Pruitt. Kyson Pruitt hits a three. The Mariners take a 19-17 lead. We're going to take another time out after that big-time three by Kyson Pruitt. Puts the Mariners up 19-17. I'm Aiden Smith. You're watching basketball on the Urban Edge Network. coming back from another timeout after a big three hit by the Marshall transfer. Kyson Pruitt puts the Mariners up 19-17 against the Royals. This one already looking like a high-scoring game, just with the amount of back and forth scoring that there's been. Here's Thad Burns, gets it to Eden. Here's Seth Childers now taking his time. Gets it to both to Castillo. Royals get two, tie it up here with the Mariners. Manny Harris passes it to Thad Burns. Now here's another big Kyson Pruitt three to give the Mariners another 3-point lead off of him. Couple new faces for the Mariners now. Amir Mack, Alexander Zambonetti, Kylan McKinney, and Braden Wood. The only player who stayed on the court after the substitution was Thad Burns. Coach Tim McAllister talking this one over with the ref, and Bryson Castillo misses his first free throw. Hits his second one. Zambonetti throws it in to Thad Burns. Mariners up 2 against the visiting Royals. Zambonetti goes up, gets 2. Zambonetti is a junior transfer from Cochise College, originally from France. And that was David Darling getting 2 for the Royals. Here's Braden Wood out to Thad Burns to Zambonetti. Rebounded by Jack Voth. So the 2 ties the game up. With Voth able to make it a 1-point lead for the Royals. And an out-of-conference play with the teams that the Sun Conference normally schedules around the area. You know, you got Thomas. This year, starting out, it's Georgia Gwinnett, Columbia College, Columbia International. They all kind of play around. A couple teams in Tennessee that they like to play. But when you get the Sun Conference play, there's really nothing else I would rather cover as a broadcaster. I mean, it's some of the best talent in the country. I mean, a bunch of guys from South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, and those states produce talent all the way from the bottom of Division III to the NAIA, D2, FCS, FBS, just everywhere, really. And it's really incredible. And then when you mix that with transfers, guys who have that talent, who are from other places, who want to come here. You know, Coastal Georgia's saying to kind of get students to come is college is better by the beach, and athletes think that's true, especially in there. That's how you get guys like Lorenzo Schifoli, Itamar Zahevi, Alexander Zambonetta, who's on the court right now. A bunch of international transfers who are from different countries, see places like this, really want to come here, love their sport. And I think the Sun Conference in the NAIA has more of that than really anywhere else. Like if I show a kid from France a picture of Georgia or a picture of Miami, is he going to want to go there or go play somewhere in Minnesota? As Braden Wood hits a big three, putting the Mariners up 27-25. But that to me is why the Sun Conference is riddled with talent, even at the NAIA level, as that missed three results in a turnover for the Royals. Zambonetta to Braden Wood. Braden Wood inside to Camara. That pass by Camara taken away. That one looked very close. Possession could have gone either way. Warner fortunate enough to get it. At least from this angle. You know, you never know what the refs are seeing because they're right there at eye level. I think that was Voth who went up and got two for the Royals to tie the game, 27-27. 10:15 left. In the first half of this Sun Conference matchup. And really, the talent thing in the Sun Conference is true for every sport. You look at softball and baseball every year, and there's Zambonetta going up, getting two more, taking the lead. You look at softball and baseball in this conference every year. Everything's always really, really close. Football, you know, Adam Glover could tell you more about this than I could. He's actually at Southeastern right now, covering a Southeastern football game. But the Sun Conference has Southeastern, Kaiser, all these teams in football. But we are going to take a timeout here, 29-27, Mariners lead, 9:47 left on the clock in this first half of action. I'm Aiden Smith. You're watching on the Urban Edge Network. Coming back from the timeout, the Mariners lead the Royals 29-27 here in the first half. This has been a very interesting back and forth game. Both these teams have a lot of explosivity, a lot of size. They're both in a really similar situation. You know, Warner's 1-4, Coastal's 2-4, but they haven't played a conference game yet. This is the first conference game, and you really want to get out to a good start in conference play. They play some of, I don't know if every NAIA conference is like this, but I can attest to this for the Sun Conference. The Sun Conference plays a few Sun Conference games in the first semester, and then plays the rest of them after a few non-cons in the second semester. So you really want to get out to a good start in 2025 and then really go on a run in 2026. But it all starts here, you know, with your first one. Seth Childers at the line. He made his first free throw. And he makes his second one, ties this one up. So, like I said before, very back and forth. Isaiah Eden has it now at the logo. Gives it to Manny Harris. Harris looking for somewhere to go with it. Gets it out to Eden. Eden pulls up for three. His three doesn't go. Rebounded by Voth. Jamal Norris gets two to put the Royals up. 31-29. Zambonetti to Harris. Harris back to Zambonetti. Zambonetti lost it for just a second. Here's Eden, and he's going to get two. This Coastal Georgia team does look much more disciplined than the last time I got to see them play here against Georgia Gwinnett. That Georgia Gwinnett game was kind of ugly on both sides. You know, Georgia Gwinnett's a new program in basketball. They've got a great athletic department, though, so it doesn't surprise me that they've been able to put together a team as fast as they have. But game was kind of sloppy for both sides. The Mariners ended up losing that one, and then we go on the road, lose a little more, get a win at Columbia College, and then played Columbia International in a loss. So they're 2-4 on the year. Win here puts them at 3-4. Which, like I mentioned before, Coach Tim McAllister's a guy who doesn't really take mediocrity, really strives for greatness. And anytime you talk to him, that's kind of all he's talking about is efficiency, greatness, all these different things. But the Royals lead 33-31, 8:35 on the clock. We are going to step aside here on the Urban Edge Network. So very short break there as Thad Burns marches out, has it, gives it to Graham. Graham almost lost it, somehow didn't lose it out of bounds. He's going to go up and draw a foul. Graham's going to get 2 shots here, chance to tie it up. I remember talking to Coach McAllister about Ellis Graham, and he's a guy who Coach Mack was super excited to get. Charleston Southern transfer, guy with D1 experience. So, clearly coachable. At least, you know, you'd hope someone who was able to stay at a D1 for as long as he did, that he's coachable, and he's got size. And he uses it there, blocks that shot just as I'm talking about it. Very, very useful guy on this team. Big rebound there by Manny Harris. Harris gives it to Burns. Burns is going to go up, get 2, and the lead. 34-33, 7:20 left in this first half of Sun Conference action. Going to be a shot clock violation there for the Royals. Great pressure there defensively, defensively by the Mariners. So now here is Thad Burns, gets it inside to the big man, Ellis Graham. Graham gets it back out to Manny Harris. The three-point attempt for McKinney, very close. That pass was tipped in the air by Harris, just could not get enough on it. And the Royals capitalize off of that. There's Thad Burns getting 2 with the jumper. Mariners doing a very good job offensively. Could be a little more defensively sound. And there it comes. Kylan McKinney off of the takeaway. That's how put his team up by 3. And then McKinney's able to take that one away. Here is Thad Burns with it now. Thad, one of just a few returners for this team. The rest of it made up of freshmen and transfers. And it's a 16-man roster, and there's 4 players at each class level. They've got 4 freshmen, 4 sophomores, 4 juniors, 4 seniors. Kyle McKinney puts them up by 5. Timeout's going to be called, so we are going to step aside. Mariners lead the Royals 40-35 with 4:30 left here in the first half of play. I'm Aiden Smith. You're watching on the Urban Edge Network. Coming back from the timeout, Mariners up on the Royals 40-35 with just under 5 minutes to go in this first half. But a very good battle here between these two teams and between these two head coaches, Matt Warren for Warner and Tim McAllister for Coastal, assistant coaches for both teams. For Warner, Will Drescher and Donnie Array, and then Adam Sizemore and Keith Olive for the Mariners. There was David Darling, who made the free throw. Here's Ellis Graham with it, hands it off to Manny Harris. Manny Harris pulls up for 3, does not get it, rebounded by Seth Childers. Travel going to be called on the Royals, who are down 4 with 4 minutes left in the first half. Here is Kyson Pruitt. Passes inside to Thad Burns. Here's Kylan McKinney. McKinney hits a big 3 to put him up 43-36. And now McKinney putting pressure on Seth Childers there. Now they got it to Jack Irwin. Irwin gave the Mariners trouble early on. Here's Thad Burns with it, running down the court. They're going to get the Royals for kicking there. Didn't see who committed the foul. Isaiah Eden back on the court for the Mariners. Amir Mack comes on and they both come in place of Pruitt, and Graham. Amir Mack was a guy who at Oakland City played in a tournament game here. I think I mentioned this on a previous broadcast and put up over 30 points on Bruton Parker College. And I think since then, right after the hiring of Coach McAllister really wanted Mack. He's got size, scoring ability, speed, explosivity. Really, he's got it all. And he's with the size, he can go up, get rebounds, but he's not too big to where he's not really going to be shooting threes a whole lot. And speaking of threes, there's a three by Castillo. Maybe it was a long two, couldn't tell. Kylan McKinney and one. So the Mariners go up 46-39, 2:42 left to play. Here's Jack Voth, gives it to Childers. Three doesn't go. Amir Mack goes up. Excuse me. Amir Mack went up, got the rebound for the Mariners. Got real high off the ground there. That comes with that explosivity that I was talking about earlier. So here is Eden. Eden at the sail at midcourt. So after the Eden throw-in, here is Manny Harris with it. Gives it back to Eden. They're going to call the foul there on Nick Patton for the Mariners. With a minute 53 left in this, what has been a very, in my opinion, exciting first half of play. Jack Voth hits a free throw there. Now on comes Zambonetti and Braden Wood for the Mariners. Zambonetti goes up, gets the big rebound off the missed free throw. Now it's in the hands of Braden Wood, passes it back to Eden. Eden looking like a quarterback directing traffic. Behind the back pass to Zambonetti. Zambonetti does not hit the three. It's rebounded. Rebounded by Josh Irwin. In the hands of Childers now. Big three there by Castillo to cut the deficit to 3. Braden Wood with it. Clock ticking down. 30 on the game clock, 15 now on the shot clock. Josh Irwin with the ball. Goes up, gets 2, cuts the deficit to 1. Mariners, I would assume, probably going to take their time. Coach is telling them to go. Here's a Braden Wood 3 to end the half, and he's going to hit it. The Mariners, right before the end of the half, going to go up 4 points, 49-45 lead here at half for the Mariners, and a very good offensive showing for both teams. Really, whoever makes the best defensive adjustment at the half is who I think is going to come out victorious in this one, but we've got 15 minutes until we figure that out. 49-45 at halftime. I'm Aiden Smith. You're watching Sun Conference Basketball on the Urban Edge Network. Coming back after the halftime break, the College of Coastal Georgia Mariners 49, the Warner Royals 45, in what has been a really back and forth game offensively by these two teams. And I said it before the halftime break, whoever makes the best defensive adjustment in this game is probably going to come out on top, because these offenses have just really been humming. But we have 20 more minutes of Sun Conference basketball left here on the Urban Edge Network. So glad you could join me. Here is Seth Childers for the Royals. Gets it to Voth. Voth. His three will not go, and then here is Eden. Pitches it back to Manny Harris. Harris inside to the big man, Jeremiah Camara. Camara is going to get fouled and go to the line. Camara hits his second one, giving the Mariners a 50-45 lead here early in the second half. Here is Josh Irwin. He passes it inside to Childers. Norris hit the big three there to cut the deficit to 2. Mariners have to stay on schedule and respond, and Manny Harris will, and they'll go back up by 4. So here is Norris with it again, pulls up for another big three and hits it. He is a very talented three-point shooter. It is 52-51, and Eden's got the ball. So here's Manny Harris with it on the outside, passes it inside to Camara. Camara is going to go up and get 2. Camara goes up, gets the big rebound. Here is Eden to Burns. Behind the back dribble by Childers, and Childers is going to go up and get 2 to make this one 54-53. Still down 1 are the Royals, but both teams just continuing to do what they did in that first half and consistently score on each other. Now the Royals have a chance to kind of twist that momentum into their favor. Here's Childers. Kyson Pruitt inside to Eden. here is Childers with it, defended by Thad Burns. Castillo goes up, passes it outside to Norris. Norris, who's hit big threes all day, does not get that one. That one's rebounded by Manny Harris. Harris pulls up for his own three, bounces off the front of the rim. So Ellis Graham fouled Josh Irwin, little 0-on-0 action. Irwin able to tie the game with this next shot. He could take the lead. And they will, so the Royals change the momentum here almost entirely. Not by being up by 1 point, but it's been the multiple good plays in a row. And the takeaway here now, and here's Norris. He's going to go up and get two more. Eden driving to the basket, gets fouled. He is going to take a trip to the line. Eden hits his first one to cut at the deficit a little bit. Eden makes both free throws from the line. Big pass down the court to Jamal Norris, and here's Voth. Here's Irwin. That one is taken away. Taken away by Ellis Graham. The rock is in the hands of Manny Harris. Harris gets it out to Zambonetti. Zambonetti to Eden. Eden goes up, tries to get two. Will not go. Rebounded by Voth for the Royals. In the hands of Castillo now. They're going to say he stepped out right there. And we are going to take a timeout. The visiting Royals lead the Mariners 57-56, 14-51, left in the second half. I'm Aiden Smith. You're watching college basketball on the Urban Edge Network. So as we come back from that timeout, the Royals lead the Mariners 57-56 with 14:51 left in the second half. Mariners going to start with possession. It is Eden. Zambonetti just barely missed that layup. And what was very back and forth offensively has become kind of a defensive showdown here in these last 3 or 4 minutes. That three-point attempt being rebounded by Braden Wood, and here's Manny Harris. And it's rebounded by Zambonetti. Zambonetti gets 2 with the layup off of the rebound. So Norris got 2 for the Royals, putting them back up by 1. But here's Braden Wood passing it out to Zambonetti. Zambonetti hits a big 3 to put the Mariners up 61-59. Big play there by Castillo. Getting the layup off of the rebound. Here's Eden, gets it outside to Zambonetti. Zambonetti back out to Eden. Eden pulls up for 3. Doesn't go. Rebounded by Zambonetti. They're going to say that both touched that ball while out of bounds. Braden Wood pulls up for big three, does not go. They call the possession in favor of the Royals, even though it looked like Irwin had touched that one before it went out. Like I've mentioned before, though, different angles from up here by the camera and down there on the court, so it's no telling the difference between what I'm seeing and what people up here are seeing and what the referees and the players are seeing. Speaking of Irwin, he hits a big two to put the Royals up 63-61. Here is Amir Mack. Passes it to McKinney. Kylan McKinney gets to himself and ties this one back up. Here's Irwin to Childers. Childers shot blocked. Now given to McKinney. McKinney back to Thad Burns. Burns outside to McKinney. McKinney pulls up for three. Doesn't go, but what a snag by Amir Mack, and his ability to throw it inbounds before touching the ground was pretty incredible, and it's going to remain the Mariners' ball. Zambonetti's layup does not go, but he is going to be fouled by David Darling. And he hits the second one, giving the Mariners a 1-point lead. So they're passing it all around now, really trying to spread out this Mariners defense, gets it inside to Childers. Childers was able to get it to Castillo. Castillo got fouled. And we're going to take a timeout here. The Mariners lead 64-63 with 10:54 left. Never mind, both teams went to talk to their coaches. Hard to hear these headphones on. Didn't know if they had called a timeout or not. They did not. And it'll be Castillo to shoot from the line. Tries to tie this one up. Bounces off the back of the rim. So he'll get that one that ties the game up. Here's Thad Burns marching down the court. Gets it to Amir Mack on the inside. Mack pressured. Gets it to McKinney. McKinney's going to get 2 and 1. These are often the best games to watch, best games to call. There's 10 minutes left in this game, and you still have no idea which direction this one's going as the Mariners take a 3-point lead against the Royals with that Colin McKinney free throw. And he calls his number. Number 3 hits a big 3. That's Castillo. Braden Wood goes and gets 2. 69-67. That's a timeout for real this time, and we will step aside. 69-67, 9:49 left in the second half of this Sun Conference matchup. I'm Aiden Smith. You're watching men's basketball on the Urban Edge Network. Back from that timeout, Mariners lead the Royals 69-67. 9:49 left to go in this game. Here is Isaiah Eden. Passes it inside to the big man, Graham. And the big man, Graham, is going to get 1 and 1. Hits the first one, gets the Mariners up to 70 points first. Jack Voth goes up, gets 2, 71-69. Well, it is Tandy Russell at the line. Hits his first one, gets the Royals to 70 points. Manny Harris able to get the rebound off of the missed free throw. Here's Thad Burns with it now. Burns tried for the long two. And it's in the hands of both now. Royals passing it all around. See Braden Wood down there. Chopping it up, talking with Jack Voth of the Royals. Voth's going to hit that one and tie this game up with 8:07 to go. Amir Mack going to come in the game for Ellis Graham. And Kylan McKinney for Braden Wood. So he hits the free throw and takes the lead for the Royals. One of these teams is going to have to make some kind of adjustment defensively. I mean, this has looked like a Big 12 football game. All offense. I'm not going to say no defense because there's been plenty of takeaways, turnovers, steals, blocks, but there's 7 minutes left in this game. Both teams have already scored into the 70s. Pruitt hits the first free throw, ties this game up for the Mariners. Second one does not go, rebounded by Kylan McKinney. McKinney is going to be fouled as well. So McKinney's going to get his own chance to shoot two. McKinney's second. goes right in. The Mariners take the 73-72 lead. As Thad Burns is able to take that one away, passes it back to McKinney. McKinney goes up, gets two. The Mariners take a 75-72 lead off of that, and any lead that either of these teams is able to build is crucial because of the way that they have been able to just answer back and forth. So whatever team can either adjust defensively or go on a big run is going to be the team that wins, but that three ties us right back up. So the Mariners call a timeout there. We're all tied up, 75-75, 6:55 left to go in this game. Don't go anywhere. This one is looking like it's going to be very interesting to end. I'm Aiden Smith. You're watching college basketball on the Urban Edge Network. So as we come back from the Mariners timeout, it is 75-75. Coach Tim McAllister trying to make some late stage adjustments. Just under 7 minutes to go in the game. So it's going to be McKinney at the line. McKinney hits that one, lets the Mariners take the lead. Although this game's been so back and forth and tied so many times, I'm not sure it matters this early still. And I say early with 6 minutes left. That's kind of incredible. (77-75). 6:45 left to go. So here is Russell for the Royals. Gets it to Irwin. Irwin being heavily pressured there by Amir Mack. We're going to get Amir Mack on that. Played a little too close. A little too handsy there with Irwin. Here's Burns, passes it to McKinney. So here is Burns to McKinney. McKinney outside to Manny Harris. Harris goes up, gets two. Russell goes up, gets two of his own. And the Warner Royals are going to take a timeout. 79-77, been a very, very close, high-scoring game so far. 5:49 left to go. I'm Aiden Smith. You're watching Sun Conference Basketball on the Urban Edge Network. Coming back from the Warner called timeout, 79-77, Mariners with possession. This one's been extremely high scoring. I mean, both teams in the high 70s with over 5 minutes to go. And this one could definitely go into the 90s or triple digits, especially if we see a big run. Amir Mack, rim rocking to help the Mariners get to 81 and a 4-point lead against the Royals. You know, when you see plays like that, it brings out a lot of momentum for teams. So here's Jack Voth, or as his teammates call him, Big O. Cutting it back to a one-score game. He makes both. Zambonetti throws it in for Thad Burns. Burns to Amir Mack. Mack to Manny Harris. Mack pulls up for two, does not go. Josh Irwin got the rebound on that. Here's Voth. Zambonetti goes up, gets two more for the Mariners. Both had fell near the Mariners' goal. Mariners capitalized going towards the other basket in a 5-on-4 situation. But we are going to go to timeout here. 83-79, Mariners lead. Don't go anywhere. Coming back now from that timeout, the Mariners go up 83-79 after a big dunk by Amir Mack and a layup by the Frenchman on the squad, Alexander Zambonetti. So now here goes Coastal. 4:30 left on the game clock. Mack's got the rock in his hands. Gives it to Burns. Burns goes up, pulls up. Burns going to take a trip to free throw land after being fouled. Going to get a chance for two here. First one goes. Mariners able to capitalize, get the rebound, get two. Excuse me, Mariners did not get the rebound. Mariners took away the turnover after both fell and lost the ball. Regardless, they take a 7-point lead now. That looks a little mismatched there. Thaddeus. Josh Irwin is 6'7". Thad Burns is 6 feet tall, so definitely a mismatch there. But he was able to defend him well for the size difference. Here's big man Amir Mack going up, getting two. Coastal starting to go on a bit of a run here in the first Sun Conference matchup of the year. That three does not go, bounces in, rolls out. Here is Manny Harris, the Georgia Southern transfer. Harris was a huge part of the Eagles' success last year at the Division I level, so to have him here in the NAIA is pretty incredible. So with the timeout, we will go to a short commercial break. It is 88-79, 2:51 left. Don't go anywhere. You're watching on the Urban Edge Network. Good. 88-79, very late stages of this one. The former Georgia Southern Eagle, Manny Harris, at the line. Thad Burns. I guess he thought it was only one, tried to go get the rebound, and the ref had it in his hands. And then he hypes the crowd up. So Harris hits the second one to give the Mariners a 10-point lead here late. Here's Castillo, gives it to Norris. We were just talking about that mismatch there between Josh Irwin and Thad Burns. And they both end up on the ground. .238 left. Josh Irwin at the line for the Royals. Does not go. So a little confusion there. Refs talking things through. Timeout taken. 89-79. Mariners with a big lead here late. 2:36 to go. I'm Aiden Smith. You're watching college basketball on the Urban Edge Network. So lots of confusion there. The Royals were shooting a free throw. Missed it. Thad Burns goes up for the rebound. They blow the refs blow whistles. Everybody, including Coach Tim McAllister for the Mariners, is very confused. They all throw up, the one-on-one hand signal, thinking that the free throw attempt was 1-1. Great effort there by Zambonetti to go up, knock that one into the hands of Manny Harris. Mariners going to maintain possession there. Number 3, Burns to throw it in. 2:24 left, 10-point lead here for Coastal. Gets it out to Amir Mack. Mack to Manny Harris. There's Kylan McKinney with it. McKinney driving. Doesn't go the first time. McKinney gets his own rebound. Gets it the second time. Gets the Mariners above 90 points, 91-79. 12-point lead here. For Coach McAllister's Mariners. With a minute and 50 left. Irwin able to go up, get 2, cut the deficit back to 10. There's McKinney to Zambonetti. It was taken away by Castillo, but Castillo touched it before it went out of bounds. And with a timeout taken, the Mariners lead 91-81. 1:30 left in this basketball game. You are watching Sun Conference basketball on the Urban Edge Network. Okay, back after the timeout. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Number 5, Manny Harris to throw it in with a minute and 30 left. Mariners up 91-81. Here's Thad Burns. Gets it to Mack. Mack goes up. They're going to give possession here to the Royals. Coach Tim McAllister giving his guys a little bit of guidance, a little bit of direction here. Up big, not trying to blow anything. With Tandy Russell at the line for the Royals. First one does not go his way. We're going to take McKinney out, put Eden in. He drills that one, making a 9-point game now. Here is Isaiah Eden to McKinney. Sorry, to Manny Harris. Very quick thinking there by Alexander Zambonetti to just grab Manny Harris, tell him, hey man, it's all right. You know, hey, just go score. The free throw puts the Mariners back up 10. 57 seconds left. Warner has no more timeouts. $11-point lead now for Coastal. And as long as they stay well disciplined, just like that, and there's Manny Harris taking it away. Gonna get intentionally fouled again. So in a game that was very back and forth the whole time, the Mariners got out to that run and have just defended it the entire time as the ball got stuck. Josh Irwin for the Royals had to get it out of there. I think the real difference maker in this game for the Mariners was their depth. They're definitely a deeper team than Warner is. You know, you saw Warner. They had Josh Irwin out there almost the whole time. Castillo out there almost the whole time. Jack Both was out there a lot. Don't have the exact minutes for anybody, but here's Eden now with the ball. (95-82) lead, 13-point lead for the Mariners, 27 seconds left. Irwin with the layup gets two. That one going to go right back to the Mariners. Just about a second came off the clock. Gets it to Manny Harris. Manny Harris just going to dribble this one out. And in the Tim McAllister era, the Mariners are going to get their first Sun Conference win here against the Warner University Royals, 95-84, and they will improve to 3-4 on the season. This team showed out offensively, and then in the last 6 minutes of the game, showed up defensively as well after what was a first half and a good portion of the second half. A very back and forth game. The Mariners showed discipline and lots of potential in this one against a team that sizably matched up with them, and for a while there offensively and defensively matched up with them as well. Very, very impressive here for the Mariners. Their next game is an exhibition at Florida Atlantic, and then their next Sun Conference game is November 19th. That's a Wednesday against Southeastern University, and then they're right back here against Ave Maria next Saturday, November 22nd here in Coffin Gymnasium. What an incredible win here for a still pretty brand new coaching staff other than Keith Olive. Keith Olive was an assistant coach last season. Adam Sizemore and Tim McAllister get a big win here in their first Sun Conference game. Tune in to that Southeastern broadcast Wednesday to see the Mariners take on the Southeastern Flame. I'm Aiden Smith. Thank you for watching college basketball on the Urban Edge Network.